I'm thrilled to introduce our presenter today, Ty. Ty is head of strategic partnerships at Restaurant 365 with extensive experience in hospitality tech and a proven track record of driving growth and nurturing successful partnerships. Ty has a unique perspective shaped by his roots in restaurant operations. His commitment to enhancing the guest experience by focusing on employee experience is driven by a genuine passion for the hospitality industry. As an owner of a bar and restaurant, Ty leverages his firsthand insights to inform his work, consistently aiming to elevate the hospitality industry with innovative and impactful solutions. Okay, let's get this started. Ty, off to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, excited to be here, excited to dive in. So we have a packed agenda today. We're going to start off just kind of a little high level of where the industry stands today, some of the challenges that we're seeing. Talk a little bit about how training is done in the industry, and then some tactics that can make it a little bit better and more impactful for your restaurant, and then do a recap with some quick wins and some next steps. All right, so let's start with the reality that we're all facing right now. Labor is a serious challenge. Finding good people is hard, keeping them is even harder, and turnover is crushing us. It's extremely expensive. You feel it, your managers feel it, and your bottom line definitely feels it. In quick service restaurants, we're seeing that turnover is right around 120%, 130%. And the people that we are hiring, only about half of them make it to 90 days. So the average tenure in QSR is just 56 days. And in full service restaurants, it's about 73 days. You compare that to some of the other industries and where it's over 4 years. And those numbers sound pretty wild. Each person that walks out of our door is costly too. I think it's somewhere just south of $6,000, and if it's a manager, it's about $30,000. And 88% of operators are seeing labor costs rise at least 6%. So we're spending more and we're getting less, and we need to find a better way. On top of that, let's quickly talk about Gen Z. This generation grew up with smartphones and social media. They're what they're calling digital natives. They're not just comfortable with technology, they expect it. And since they make up almost 70% of our workforce, our training needs to match how they learn. It's got to be quick, digital, social, and accessible anytime. Blended training isn't just a strategy, but blending that in person and online training. It's really about survival. So what that means is the old ways of training, printed manuals, shadowing somebody, maybe watching a video from 10 years ago, it really doesn't cut it anymore. It's slow, it's inconsistent, and frankly, it's frustrating for both the trainer and the trainee. I know I've lived that life for a couple decades now, and in your team, when you look at your team in their regular lives, uh they're getting answers instantly. And if you want them to stick around the restaurant, we have to be giving them those instant answers in the workplace too. Because we're not just competing with other restaurants for labor, we are competing with our team members' expectations in this digital world that we live in. So we bring somebody on and they leave. What happens if they don't stay? Is it costly? Well, let's break it down. I had mentioned that, $5,800 number earlier, and that's per hourly employee, and about, $30,000 for a manager. That's not just a guess. It's backed by research. And think about, if you think about all that time that you spend recruiting and onboarding and training and retraining, it's very costly. But you also have to take into consideration the lost productivity and the customer experience hit when you have that revolving door. For a typical QSR that's running at even 100% turnover, that's over $20,000 out of the door every year. Imagine if you were just cutting that by, you know, 15 or 20%, that would be a big, 40, $50,000 savings per location. And I'm not saying that there's a silver bullet to eliminate training. I know that, but investing, or I'm sorry, to eliminate turnover, but investing in training is definitely proven to help. So how does better training help? Like, what if it didn't feel like a burden? Can it actually help solve the challenges that I just mentioned? Can it put dollars back into your pocket? Well, Marco's Pizza is a great example of what's possible when training is done right. As one of the nation's top pizza chains, they rolled out Expand Share, Restaurant 365's training platform across all of their locations. In just 3 years, they cut turnover by 22%, which is massive when you're talking about hundreds of locations and constant hiring. Uh, Even better, their average tenure went from 6 months to 3 years. And that's the type of stability that's really unheard of in this space. But the kicker is, what did that do to the bottom line? Well, they saved $16 million every year in hiring and staffing costs. Like, that's not just fluff, that's real money. And they can reinvest that back into their people, into their operations, and most importantly into growth. So how do they do it? It wasn't just about doing more, it was about doing things smarter. Let's take a look at the first piece of a smarter strategy, and that's automation. Managers spend too much time repeating the same instructions, the same tasks, and we can fix that by automating tasks and delivering content that's assigned by role or by location. You can also translate it into 85 different languages with the push of a button. It's scalable, it's inclusive, and it's a serious time saver, taking a lot of that burden off of your manager's plate. Next, we can talk about we can talk about measurement. The old adage of what gets measured gets done, and you can't manage what you can't see. And we can't just use the honor system. I trust that it got done. With Expansion, you'll get real-time reporting: who's done the training, who's ready to hit the floor, and who might need some extra help. These are the types of insights that ensure that your team, no matter how lean it is always prepared to deliver an outstanding guest experience. Now, this one for me is a real game changer. Access to instant answers. This is something that across our industry has just hasn't been there, because it's a restaurant. It's fast paced. Things are always moving. Um, but but that also means that there's no time to find a trainer, or flip through a training binder, or you know go go back to a computer and sit down and search. You have the ability to easily upload any of your important information, like important documents, recipe cards, pictures, videos, really any type of media. And and the knowledge base and AI chatbot lets your team ask questions anytime, anywhere, and in any language, and get those instant answers, get those instant right answers. They're not afraid to ask. It's kind of like a judgment free zone. So they're not like, oh, I was already told that, and now I don't want to go ask again. It's really like having your best trainer or your best asset cloned and put right in their back pocket. Probably one of the most powerful features is the instant translations. With just one click, your training content, whether it's a checklist, a document or even a chatbot response, or a newsfeed post, it can be translated into over 85 languages. So this means it doesn't matter what your what your team members' preferred language is. They still get the same high quality information in a format that they understand exactly when they need it. There's really no more relying on someone else to try to translate on the fly for you, or just hoping that your employee gets the gist of the message. This is about empowering your entire team, front to back of house, to fully understand how to succeed. And we always know, especially with the Gen Z generation, that recognition matters, feedback matters, and features like badging, leaderboards, and real-time recognition keeps your team motivated, keeps your team engaged. And when people feel seen and they feel appreciated, they perform better and they stick around longer. I think, in my opinion, probably second only to feeling confident in their roles and feeling like they know what they're supposed to do. Feeling appreciated is a primary driver to keep your team members happy and keep them sticking around. So as we wrap up here, and we think about what are the keys to success, what are some things that we can walk away with today? I would say, blended online and in-person training is critical today. It's not about technology coming in and completely removing what you're doing today with regards to shoulder training. We still want that happening. We just want it to be tracked and to be visible, and we want to supplement it. Um, and really, we want to amplify it with tools like our restaurant, or like our training platform. Uh, Automating onboarding, uh, taking some of those redundant tasks off of your manager's plate, off of potentially your plate. Some of those things uh, that you have to do every time, but your time would be better served out on the floor. Um, getting those into a system that can just instantly send those out upon being hired. Then continuously measuring engagement and skills, uh, making sure that we have visibility into what's going on. We can measure what's going on. We can see who knows what and when, and it really giving giving yourself access to the information anywhere you are, to know what's going on in your restaurant. We can't see that training binder. We can't see that employee folder that's in a filing cabinet somewhere. You can't see that when you're not in the restaurant. So, having visibility anywhere is important, especially as you're looking to scale and add additional locations. Um, and then empowering your team with 24/7 access to information, access to the right information too. Really, like I said earlier, a judgment-free zone, giving them the tools to get the answers, to get the right answers they need exactly when they need it. And then for you to see in the back end what types of questions are being asked, what types of answers are being provided. So, you still know the gaps within your staff's knowledge. So even as we take small steps in these areas, they can lead to really big improvements uh, with regards to productivity, with regards to retention, and employee morale. So if you're thinking, at any point of this session, if you're thinking, yeah, this is something we need to do this, let's talk. We can tailor a training solution that fits your brand, that fits your team, your goals. And whether you want a demo or you just want a conversation, and you want to learn more about different techniques, we're here to help you.
Thank you so much, Ty. Before we get into our Q&A, we have a quick poll question we'd love for you all to answer. You should see it pop up on your screen in just a moment. I'll give you all a couple minutes here to answer. Couple more seconds here. If you guys could quickly just answer, that would be awesome. Great. Thank you all so much for that. So now on to our Q&A. We got some great questions here, so let's get started. Ty, can employees complete their food safety and alcohol certifications through the platform as well?
Yeah, part of our platform is we have a marketplace of over 600 what we call industry essential courses. So that's that's anything from training from knife skills and wine 101 to some of the top technologies out there like Toast and Square, and getting training on those systems kind of built right into that roadmap. And then compliance training too. So state specific sexual harassment, food handler, food food protection manager. Those are going to be ANSI certified certificates, and can replace the need to use an outside vendor like ServeSafe.
Great. Okay, thanks. Next question. Can you talk a little bit about how to customize training programs based on different roles and locations?
Yeah, so we have an implementation team that kind of coaches around this, but typically in a restaurant today, they're going to have their server day one training and their kitchen line cook day one training. And we just take the content and the materials that you have today, and you can organize it within the system. And then with our integrations, obviously with Restaurant 365, with integrations into POS, payroll, scheduling tools, upon them adding an employee into any one of those systems, they would get pulled into ours and assigned to the role and the location that they're working at. And then the training for those specific roles will automatically get pushed to them.
Cool. Thanks. And one last question here. Can you track employee progress through onboarding and required training certifications in real time?
Yeah, you can do that. You can you can see the progress for for your restaurant. You can get a snapshot of where everybody stands, or you can go into an individual's profile, and you could see exactly where they're at right now. What are the things that they've completed? What haven't they? How did they score on quizzes? Different things like that. So you can go, top level as an organization, or you can go all the way down to an individual.
Awesome. Great. That concludes our Q&A. Thank you so much, Ty. Before we sign off here, I wanted to let you all know about our restaurant transformation tour. The schedule is live. We'll be making stops in Dallas, San Diego, and New York before the end of the year. And these events will feature sessions tailored to different roles in the restaurant industry, offering valuable insights and the chance to connect with peers. You'll hear from people like Ty there, lots of expert sessions. So definitely check it out. There's still lots of time to sign up. We'd love to see you there. This concludes our webinar. You'll receive an email with a link to download the recording, to listen again, or share with your team. Thank you so much for joining, and we hope to see you again soon. Take care.